Okay, I'm back. We're cruising along here. PMDG 777-300 Part 2 of Father Time, flying from Minneapolis to JFK with Nor'easter. Part 1, we pushed back off the gate, started engines, exited the icing area, did all our de-icing procedures, talked about them, took off. Coming up on 10,000 feet, we sent you guys away. Father Time kept flying. Last hour and a half. Now, I will admit I took the dog for a walk, talked to my wife for a while, had another cup of coffee. We're back in here. As a matter of fact, it's still a little early. I just wanted to talk to you. Let me show you where we are. And then I'm going to push you back into the way again for a little while. So we're going to be doing the Lindy arrival into New York. And on that arrival, they told us to expect Geno at 23. We're at 39. We're estimated to, on the prog page, land at JFK at 1953. Present time is 1856. So a little less than an hour. Just wanted to talk to you before I put you back on freeze about some of the things we'll be doing. Nice and quiet there. So we're going to be doing the Lindy arrival. So I programmed the FMC. They told us to expect to cross Geno at 23, so I put that in as an expected. We'll see if they give it to us. And Lindy at 250 and 19, which I put in. That's awful slow, awful early. We're going to be coming up and landing all the way over here on 4 right. So it's kind of a long, slow approach. They get you down slow and they kind of merge you in with the arriving traffic. So yeah, you come up over the field and kind of dump you on down. So it'll be a little bit of a speed brake descent coming down. We'll be planning on doing the ILS to 4 left. We're going to try a Cat 3. Not sure what the visibility and ceiling is going to be. Oh, that's not the Cat 3, is it? ILS. We're going to do the ILS 4 right. It's a Cat 3, so we'll have to come back to that. Show you that one. And we're doing a Cat 3, so I'll get 0 put in the radio altimeter, and I'll get that all tuned up for when you come back. The landing is always going to be interesting. Let me see here. It's dry. If it's a dry runway, flaps 30, 463 landing weight, 4,000 feet. No big deal. It's an 8,500 foot runway, 7,300 on glide slope. But if they degrade the braking action down to medium or poor, because it is snowing, it's up around 79.56. So we're still good. But it might be something that you would consider asking for 4 left for. There's no Cat 3 or 4 left. So it'd probably be prudent to fly to 4 left and skip the Cat 3. If you're going to go missed approach, well, go missed approach. Because if that braking action is bad in Nor'easter, they can be very behind in a big heavy snowstorm on the braking calls. So they may be saying the braking action is good to fair, but in fact it's fair to poor at any given moment. They almost rely on the pilots to figure it out. Well, it's a short runway, so I think what we'll do is we'll just do a Cat 1, and we'll go in for the ILS to 4 left, where we have 11,000 feet of runway, so as not to have to worry about it. So it just gets a little tight. You can see you can kind of get lured in with the 4,000 feet if they're saying it's fair to good, but you start getting, and if it ever went to poor to nil or 1, you're off the end of the runway. So why don't we just do the ILS 4 left? So that's what I'm thinking of doing. All right, guys, I'll put you back on pause, and I'll come back in as we start our descent and our star into Kennedy. I just want to make sure you guys are still there. Stay awake for me. You guys still awake? We're going to start our descent. Look here. What's that about? That's 80, 60, about 120 miles. And take a look at the approach. We're going to come in over the field to do a right base for ILS 4 left, category 1 in the snow. We'll be talking about a lot of things coming in here. We definitely would have a lot to talk about in terms of missed approach. That missed approach is going to be going around. Toga, flaps 20, positive rate, gear up, set missed approach altitude. So we would review that because maybe we haven't even talked about it. Neither one of us has been to recurring training for 7 or 8 months. Although most guys are pretty good about reviewing that on every approach that's IMC conditions. We talk about on the landing, runway very likely is contaminated, so we've done the landing analysis. We want to not to float, get that thing down, keep the pressure on the nose gear, get into reverse. Don't be in a hurry to come out of reverse. If you need to keep it in idle reverse until stop, that's great. Don't turn off till 5 knots. We're going to keep the engine ice on to the gate. And we're going to keep the flaps, bring the flaps up to 15 so that we don't grind any of the gears that are in the flaps and slats. We'll discuss that. We'll brief the approach early. It's going to be the ILS 24 left. We'll start talking about it as early as possible with this kind of stuff. ILS 4 left is in there. 110.9, 045. And going down to a DH of 231, which is 220 feet AFL. In the event of the missed approach, actually we're doing this off the approach chart. Just getting this out of the way because it's going to get busy when we get a little closer. In the event of a missed approach, 3,000 feet up to dump heat and enter the hold. If we go missed approach because of weather, we could come in and try the ILS to 4 right. But remember that depends on, I think we'd probably be better off diverting at that point. The only other thing we could try is to ask them for the ILS to 31 left. It can be, we have to see what the winds are. Anyway, those are some of the things we're talking about. Engine ice left on, flaps 15, not floating, not be in a hurry to come out of idle reverse once you hit 60 knots. Keep it in idle reverse all the way to 5 knots. You really don't want to be in full reverse unless safety's an issue because you'll be ingesting some of the junk that's on the taxiways. We can call in dispatch. We could pre-text dispatch and just ask them what the field conditions are at the moment. And we have to give us all that stuff. So. The reason that they're having a top of descent here is that they just told us to cross Jenna at flight level 230. So in the box, we put Jenna at 230. We put Lendy at 250 and 19. Now we didn't push it like on some other airplanes. If we push it, it would start down to Jenna. If you're more than 40 miles outside the top of descent, we're 80. It'll assume that you want to get down and cruise at that altitude and go to idle power. You can slow the descent a little bit by bringing the throttles up manually, pushing forward a little bit. But if you're inside of 40 miles from the top of descent, it assumes that you're just doing it'll do 1,000 foot per minute until it intercepts the VNAV path. So right now we have Jenna in there at 23, and if we don't do anything right here at the top of descent, it's going to start down to cross Jenna at 23 with its eyes on hitting Lendy at 250 and 19. Anyway, I'll come back. Yeah, one more thing I should have mentioned to you is in cruise you don't need to use any ice if it's minus 40 or greater in climb or cruise. On the descent you do. You get into moderate icing or severe icing, you've got to get out of it and keep descending. But you don't have to worry about any ice if it's colder than minus 40. The way I found that was to go to Prague, page 2. There's SAP, this is TAT, that's SAP 0 now we're minus 77, so we definitely wouldn't need it for climate cruise. On the descent, if we went into icing, we can anticipate that we would, but remember everything here is automatic on this system. Icing sensors out of the nose of the aircraft. So it depends how often it senses ice, whether or not it puts on the engine. If it senses ice even more, you put on the wing. But for us, if you see a bunch of ice on our windshield, the wing and ice isn't on, you could always turn it on if you wanted to. Anyway, you can see that we're approaching the top of descent, Maggio, right around there. And we're starting here shortly, and it's going to cross Jenna at 230. It's in path. I can actually take a look. This airplane doesn't have it actually. The countdown to the descent. Yeah, there it is. Descent. 18 miles in that yet. Never mind. Anyway, we'll let it start down. No sense doing a long video on this one. We'll start down here with Jenna. I'll come back for that, and then we'll stay on to our arrival. Alright, I'll let you watch this descent here. Here it comes. But I'm not going to stay on the descent entirely with you. It's just been too long a video. You see the throttles coming back. I didn't push anything. Had I pushed it within 40 miles, it would have been down to 1,000 feet per minute. Outside of 40, it would have been idle power. Just slowed it by moving the throttles forward. So it's a little different. Let's altitude intervene on the 777. Just pushing the button. But here we go. We're descending down. And right now we're cleared to cross Jenna. You can see that we're doing well. Cross Jenna at flight level 230. And then we got a program Lendy at 250 at 19. I'll come back with you approaching Lendy. Alright, we're back and we're going to stay on for the rest. So we crossed Jenna at 23. Next thing we're doing is we're about 70 miles from Kennedy, the fixed page, but along the route of flight we're 91 because it belongs circuitous route in. So now the next thing on the VNAV path, you can see we are in VNAV path. We've got 19 set in the window. 19 set in the window. We're just going to cross Lindy at 250 and 19. That's what we're doing. That's our plan. We're all briefed up. ILS 4 left to make our descent approach. Because of the proximity of LaGuardia to Kennedy, it's very rare that you get a left base into the fours in New York. You almost always fly over the field high, dump it on down on the other side of Kennedy, right-hand turn with 220 to a right base to bring it on in either 4 right or 4 left. Got the 3 airports, really multiple airports. It's got LaGuardia just to the north of Kennedy. You've got Newark just to the west of Kennedy. Teterboro Airport. Even if you count the Stewart Fields and the White Plains, Islip Airport, there's just a lot of traffic in there, so very specific around it.
Information, Sierra 15162, 055 minor pit 12, visibility greater than 20 miles, in snow, sky condition, ceiling 3,300, broken, temperature -6, dew point -16, altimeter 2956, ILS, runway 4 left in ILS, runway 4 right in use, landing and departing, runway 4 left in runway 4 right, VFR aircraft.
Alright, got the Kennedy ATIS. It's good visibility, snow. The altimeter is 2956, we can preset that. 2956 is preset on both sides. A long arrival in. Yeah, they take us up over Lendy. They usually drop us down to 13. And then they'll drop us down to 5 or 8. It's kind of an idle speed right after that 13,000 as you make your approach on in. If you don't get right down, they're displeased. So you can see that it's going to definitely cross Lendy at 250 and 19. You're still on the path. Looking good there. Everything's good. You always got to fly with the VNAV, as you know. Never really trust it. I try to keep the heading bugs synced up too. Alright, you can see again we're 50 miles from Kennedy, so we're way above the 3-degree glide path. That's because we have such a circuitous route along the route at 71, and that's generous. So it's definitely going to be a slam dunk as always. Guys do that. Are you kidding me? Okay, my aircraft, roger your aircraft, run the fire cargo aft checklist, please. Fire cargo aft. And then guys, what they do is he would go right up the pass here. Pull it up. No, not be in a hurry. Alright, aft cargo fire arm switch arm. Aft cargo fire arm switch arm. Cargo fire switch push and hold for 1 second. Okay, we'll go up there, push and hold it for 1 second. Okay. Anything else? We don't have to worry about that. Alright, checklist is complete. Let's see if the fire goes out here, guys. New York, pilot time, 1, 2, 3. Go ahead, pilot time. Yes, sir. Mayday, mayday, mayday. Go ahead with the state your fuel on board, sir. Roger, we have 2.5 hours of fuel on board. We have 330 people. We've got a cargo fire in the aft compartment. It's not going out at the moment. Request direct to Oroki with the ILS score left. Pilot time 1, 2, 3. Clear direct Oroki. We'll expect the ILS 4 left. Direct Oroki 4 left. And pilot time descend and maintain 2,000 feet. Kennedy altimeter 2956. Pilot time 1, 2, 3, down to 2,000 feet. Kennedy altimeter 2996. Right, guys, so. And pilot time, request a high speed descent, sir. Roger, pilot time, speed at your discretion. Alright, so. FOs run the checklist, fire the bottle, and the fire is not going out. I'm going to say your aircraft, we are descending down 19. Put the speed brake all the way out.
Altimeter setting.
Not easy. Hey guys, I'm having trouble with these getting these settings right. There we go. Okay, Steve, your aircraft, roger my aircraft, we're descending down to 2,000 feet, direct to Roki, your LNAV in it, the flight level change, altimeter transition level.
Altimeter setting.
The altimeter is 2956 question, 2956 question. Ladies and gentlemen, this, I called the flight attendants first of all. I said, hey guys, we have had indication of the cargo fire aft. They said, yeah, it's kind of, we can smell some smoke back here. Yeah, it's not going out right now. You need to copy your test information. Roger. Guys, you do a test information if you think you might have to drive that. It's got the type of emergency. We've had a cargo fire aft. It's not going out. Evacuation signal will be the audible signal followed by this is the captain. Evacuate, evacuate, evacuate. If I want you to remain seated, I'll say it's the captain. Remain seated, remain seated, remain seated. Okay. And if that's a signal. Time to landing's about, let me see. We're at 52. We're going to be on the ground in about 10 minutes. I'll make a PA. All right. Sounds good. Thank you, Captain. Out of 10. Lights are all on. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Father Time. Your captain. We've had an aircraft malfunction. I'm sure you're aware of it back there. You can smell something. I assure you it's nothing to be alarmed at home. Just told this story right now. I asked you to follow the flight attendant's instructions. We'll be landing in about 9 minutes. Apologize for the inconvenience. We go to the ACARS page, guys, and we set the, I'm going to bring the speed back a little. We set the notification to dispatch, tell them to request ARF equipment, and we'll be on the ground in 8 minutes, and it's a cargo fire aft. The fire has not gone out. It's funny, somewhere I must have clicked the gear down to probably help me. Alright, we're descending on down. I don't want to blow through this thing, so I'm going to actually bring the speed back to 250. And what I'm watching is the arch here. Oroki it says 1500, but 2000. Now I'm telling Steve, my aircraft, onto your aircraft, listen, I think we might end up in an evacuation situation when we land. We'll stop straight ahead on the aircraft, we're going to get the parking brakes parked. But if it's still smelling like smoke back there, we get the fire indication, we're going to plan on evacuating. Are you familiar with the checklist? Yeah, I have the evacuation checklist going on. Yeah, listen, for some reason, the flight attendants initiate, they're supposed to get the outflow valves open, it's parking brakes set, outflow valves open. If they start initiating an evacuation without us, because of the smoke and panic, just shut down the engines before you continue with the outflow valves. It will be depressurized. Roger that, sir. And we'll plan on stopping straight ahead. You know your evacuation duties? Yes, sir. I go out there, finish the evacuation checklist, grab my hat. You don't have a hat. And we head right out to the first exit, grab the megaphone, and assist with the evacuation. Yeah, stand on the bottom of the slides and just make sure they get away from the slide. It's going to be 300 people trying to get out at once. It's 3 for 2, guys. I'm going to bring the spoilers up. This will take a while, right?
2500.
I want a little better when I'm down. I got to rig these up a lot better. Spoilers on there? No, not yet. Out, and the brakes are on 4. Alright, what you don't want to do is get so excited that you end up going. We're burning up here a little bit, but I don't want to overshoot. Alright, speed below 265, flaps 1. Speed's verified. And speed's below 245, flaps 5. Verified. And my point is, fly the airplane. Don't want to end up in a go-round situation. Speed below 230, flaps 15. Steve, do me a favor, call back and ask the flight attendants what they're seeing. Yeah, we are seeing back here, getting smoke. You definitely smell smoke. It's getting really hazy. The floor in the aft cabin, the flight attendant's reporting that it's very warm. Feels like there's something on fire there. The floor is buckling a little bit. Okay, we're going to do not initiate evacuation until I say so because we want to make sure we come to a stop and get the engine shut down. But we are going to plan on evacuation. Roger that. Kennedy approach. This is Father Time 123 Heavy, Mayday aircraft. We are going to plan on evacuation on the runway. Please advise the ARF equipment. We have indications of a fire and visual indications in the cabin. Roger, Father Time 123. It's approach. ARF equipment is standing by. Alright guys, we're going to let the LNAV come around. Press up 1500 feet. Roger, Father Time. Send and maintain 1500 feet. Okay, here comes the course, guys. I'm going to hit the approach, arm it. The low capture. We're going to miss approach by the time 123 likes to go runway heading 2000. That's approved, sir. Contact Kennedy Tower 119.1. 19.1 by the time 123. Kennedy Tower, American, Father Time 123 Heavy. Mayday aircraft. Approaching Crystal. Roger, Father Time. You're number one. Everybody else is cleared out, sir. You'll be clear to land. You are clear to land. Clear to land, Father Time 123. Steve, I can give you flash 20. Here's down, touch 25. All the way back to approach speed. Okay. We're going to be flaps 30, Steve. Roger that, sir. 141 will be our final. Below 180. Flaps 30 for landing checklist. Sorry about that, guys. Alright, flaps coming to 30. Pretty busy, one paper hanger here. Alright, Steve, just to reemphasize, we are going to stop straight ahead on the runway. We are planning ground evacuation. You know where the outflow valves are? Yes, sir, I'm familiar. Okay, and you know where the fire handles are. Alright, be ready for that. A few levers, just kind of look around, know where you're gonna grab everything. Remember, guys, it's been a long time since they've done this stuff. We're at alt, so we can actually set our approach altitude. 2000. Glide slope capture, load capture. Runway in sight, Steve. Roger that. Air clear to land. Plan on stopping straight ahead. And have the ARF equipment check us out. Alright, flight attendants ding us right now, even though it's sterile, and say, sir, we can hardly breathe back here. Say, we will get there on the ground as soon as possible. Do not initiate evacuation. I repeat, do not initiate your evacuation. Let us get the engine shut down.
1,000.
Roger, sir. You're stable. Important thing, guys, is to fly the airplane. You don't want to get such a rush that you end up having to go missed approach because you rushed it on in. I sure hope they don't send that aircraft out on the runway ahead of us. Not good.
Approaching minimums.
A little bit ridiculous. We're not going around. Kennedy Tower, Mayday aircraft on final. We're going to land over this guy, sir.
Minimums.
Father Time 123 Heavy. Roger. I don't know what he's not talking to me, sir. All right. Thanks a lot, man.
100. 50. 30. 20. 10,
Stopping straight ahead. Stop the airplane. This is the captain. Remain seated, remain seated, remain seated. Okay, Steve, run the evacuation checklist. Okay, sir, parking brakes park, parking brakes park. All full valves manual. It's all yours, buddy. Manual. All full valves full open. They are full open. Okay, fuel control switches cut off. Cut off. PA, this is the captain. Evacuate, evacuate, evacuate. Okay, sir, the evacuations command. Pull the horn. It's going. ATC advised, tower, this is Father Time 123. We're evacuating on the runway. This is the ARF equipment. We're outside, sir. Yeah, you got fire coming from the aft cargo. Okay. Engine fire switches both pull. Thank you there. We're evacuating. Yeah, we can see him, sir. And you hear a lot of screaming back there, guys. Fire handles pull. APU fire handle pull as well. We do that. Fire switches. Okay, you, Steve, you go out the first exit. This is the evacuation checklist complete. Look at this guy. You gotta love it. All right, guys, that's it. So we'd evacuate. Steve would go outside first exit with a megaphone assisting the evacuation. I would wait till the end and go all the way out the back. And I'm going to try to get outside here. Go all the way out the back and make sure no one's locked in the lavatories or anywhere else. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed that. A little surprise ending for you at the end, huh? Okay, that's it. Really appreciate you guys coming with Father Time here. And Father Time is out. You know what? Only problem is Father Time can't find the off switch. Okay, guys, don't forget to subscribe. That was fun.